If you're just joining us, this is part 2 of my conversation with Andrew Cartwright. Andrew is an entrepreneur, investor, and strategist who has built and rebuilt his life and businesses many times over, starting more than 30 companies across 17 industries, exiting multiple businesses, and working as a developer, lender, venture capitalist, and angel investor with a focus on real estate finance and business strategy. What makes this conversation especially meaningful is the range of experience Andrew brings, from being broken and homeless to rebuilding himself multiple times, even surpassing $100 million in success. We've intentionally split this episode into 2 parts, so nothing important was rushed or left out. And if you haven't listened to part 1 yet, I recommend starting there. As we continue into part 2, we're building on that foundation and going even deeper. Whether you're looking for inspiration, guidance, or simply a moment of reflection, you're in the right place. This is Wisdom Stripes.
Yeah.
But what if you had given up 3/4 of the way through reading that big binder?
I didn't have a choice.
You wouldn't have got to the exceptions, so you just...
I wouldn't have given up.
Right?
There was no giving up. To me, failure is a convenient excuse for somebody that wants to quit. I don't quit. I would have found a way.
I do feel like that's connected to the tears, though. I feel like the tears you had when you used to tell that story is about that pivotal moment where you showed up against all odds and you stood and you stood.
Against authorities.
And you stood and you stood and you stood and you stood. And I wonder whether there is some kind of grace, the grace of God or the grace of that man who was able to read on some level what it meant.
Well, how it ended up in my book was about not like doctors, lawyers, and people that we consider authorities. The true authority is the truth. And so often we're willing to listen to an authority and accept it as the truth. It's the problem with media today. You have 2 different authorities telling you 2 different things.
Yeah, you do.
The truth is listening to what each one is omitting, because the real truth is usually pretty boring. If you hear the whole truth about something, you'll understand. But if you hear half the truth, it'll usually interbulate you. It'll put you in chaos. Chaos makes us watch. And these are chaos merchants. They sell chaos. So, and that's how they get paid, is to get our attention by selling chaos.
It's a sad state of affairs. But
it's a business.
Right.
It's a business. It's that business.
And it also does appeal to the humans. Humans quite like a bit of chaos as much as they detest it.
That's why we like gambling.
Yeah, risk.
Yeah.
And then is it risky healthy or risky unhealthy? And then we're in a whole other philosophical discussion.
Yeah.
I want to return to an open loop that I said I would.
Okay.
Dragonheart. That's where I want to go.
Dragon Ridge.
Dragon Ridge.
Yeah.
I heard Dragonheart.
I live in Dragon Ridge. It's like the east side billionaire spot is that side. The summit's the west side billionaire spot. I live near, right. My neighbor is like Nancy Walden. She's worth, I don't know, 11 or 12 billion dollars. And then, what's his name? The guy from Wish that's worth 4 billion, and Andrew that's worth like 3.5 billion. It's a beautiful neighborhood, but there are 2 dragons and a tiger there, which are energy vortexes. I wrote another book that hasn't been published yet called Financially Disturbed, which is about our financial system.
Okay.
And kind of where things are heading and how things will ultimately be all decentralized. Like finance will be decentralized. It won't be as central as it is today.
So Bitcoin, essentially.
Some version of that.
Some version of cryptocurrency.
It's a great advertisement for security. Bitcoin's a great advertisement for security. And I have a lot of Bitcoin. But it's pretty much just, it works as far as it hasn't been hacked. So, that proof, when banks are dealing with fraud all the time, they're dealing with hacks, they're dealing with, all kinds of stuff. And then you have this technology, this blockchain technology, which everyone has a ledger and a copy of what happened. And if we don't all agree, then whoever is the outlier from the millions and millions and millions of different nodes that actually carry that whole ledger. It's amazing. It's one of the best tech that's come along, probably. I mean, AI's like now, those two are unbelievable, because I'm on the cutting edge. I see stuff, AI, that people haven't even seen yet. Workflows and just AI agents. I remember coming in, and my wife, she has like 450 employees that work for her at Google. And she's has all these agents that are actually arguing with each other. And she's like she showed me this probably about a year ago. I'm like, you're kidding me. She's all these agents, they're like independent, kind of talking to each other. And she goes, yeah, I can set up a board of directors. I can take all the information that, let's say Ben Franklin ever said, and I can create the best version of a bot or an AI bot that thinks close to all the written material on Ben Franklin, and also will predict what he probably would have thought based on the framework of what's already in writing. So, you look at that, because part of the thing was Gregory Hilton. He's the one, kind of the godfather 20 years ago, that kind of came up with the idea of predicting the next word. He was obsessed with sort of mapping out the brain, which nobody knows really how AI works. It's like a black box.
Black hole.
Yeah.
Black box.
It's like literally a black box. They just put it in there and it grows.
Yeah, it's a little bit like medicine. They don't really know how it works, but it works.
It works.
Yeah, I got it. Circling back, if not cryptocurrency, what was the other thing that was over to the right that you didn't talk about?
AI and cryptocurrency.
No. I think before we were talking about moving to a decentralized currency.
Oh, yes.
And I said cryptocurrency, and you said, yes, that's one of them.
That technology. So we'll use blockchain technology. Like, there's no need for title companies anymore. Like, if they took the title plant that exists for like homes and they put that on the blockchain, there would be no reason to pull a full title report every time you sell a house. Like, the last title would just be there, and it's on the blockchain, and it's immutable. It like fixes it in stone and spreads it across. We were in Dubai in 2018 and meeting with government officials, and we talked about them putting everything on the blockchain, and they immediately started doing it.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah. Dubai is so like...
Doesn't it feel very safe?
It feels very safe in Dubai.
But that idea feels safe.
It feels safe, yeah.
It doesn't feel, it feels much less safe to have it in some government
title plant, and,
right?
Yeah, and that's susceptible as well. Yeah. It's not immutable.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cost that goes into maintaining that, and I've secured assets. Like, I've done thousands and thousands of loans, so I've had to securitize assets in order to sell them on the market on Wall Street. So you have to make sure the chain of title is completely clean in order to actually sell an asset and give somebody first priority. You have to have the asset completely clean and know that the true ownership is the owner that has it, that's making the sale.
Back to Dragon Ridge.
Yes, Dragon Ridge.
And I nearly called it Dragon Heart, which is so beautiful. But Dragon Ridge has 3 vortexes in it, is what I heard you say. It does. Tell
and
us.
I've been building there since 2003.
Okay.
Built a bunch of houses in there. I built my house there too. It's about 11,000 square feet, 12,000 under roof, with a pool that you can no longer get in Vegas. It's like almost 100,000 gallons or something like that. Full kitchen inside. It has a boat dock. It has a beach entry. It has a full kitchen in it. And it's made for bumper boats. And then it's got 11 waterfalls, water slide, and kids love it. Absolutely love it. The whole backyard is travertine. Wow. Chiseled edge travertine. I did that because in the summertime, travertine is real porous, like the one I have, the stone I have outside. Plus, it's a stone, so it's cooler. So it's just nice. I fell in love with Dragon Ridge. I like the energy vortexes and have the material on it, and just know that I just could feel those areas when I went to them, sort of the energy. And just, that's why, you know, I've been building in there for 20 years, built a bunch of houses, and it's just been magical. I run there. I do Ironman, so I'll run about 10 to 13 miles inside the community. And the cool thing is I run by a bunch of houses I built. So when I run so by nice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 houses that I built is kind of on my run. So that range anywhere from 7 to 13,000 square feet, something like that.
Tell me about your relationship with Ironman.
Ironman? It was one of those things I didn't think I could do. I still, every time I go to a race, I'm like, there's no way I'm going to be able to finish this 140-mile race. To me, it's just a sign of commitment, dedication, and relentless endurance. I mean, you know, I joke about, you know, in almost every Ironman I've done, I've met Jesus and Elvis at this, you know, at some point in the race, you know. So it's kind of funny. And this last year, after doing it for a decade, I finally qualified for the World Championship Ironman in Kona. So this one was particularly interesting. They had jellyfish that had come into, and they were trying to figure out if they were deadly jellyfish or not. I guess blue box or something like that. Yeah. So they weren't blue box. So I go out and start to swim, and everybody's an A personality there, just incredibly fit. I was the only one who brought fat to the event. I brought a little bit of fat just to represent fat in the world, I guess. But I get there and we're getting hit with jellyfish. So on this swim, there's a current that comes across. And so you're swimming and you're being pushed this way. And then you turn once you're like a mile and 1.2 miles out. Then you start swimming back, right? So you're in it at that point. You know, you're like, you know, so you're going around. There are sharks that came in. I didn't even know about the sharks. The craziest thing is the sharks came. They were right next to us, and dolphins came in, and dolphins started going right beside us, back and forth
to guard you,
back and forth, and pushed the sharks into shore.
How about that?
And I was like, well, why didn't they stop there? You know, well, what? That's scary, right? Sharks. And I guess that's a thing that dolphins do.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, I hear that all the time now. Yeah. At the time when I heard it after the race, I was like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
You know, and they go, no, the dolphins came in, and as soon as everybody was out of the water, they left.
That is the most magical story. I swam with a dolphin once, maybe 25, 30 years ago, and it swam underneath me.
Oh, wow.
And as it swam, I looked in its eyes, and time stood still. It's like I had this total connection with it. And I've never forgotten. I can see it in my mind's eye right now. And I watched it come and find me and have that experience.
They're so magical.
They're so magical.
We took a raft out another time during the time we were there. We stayed there for 2 weeks. And the dolphins would come up and look at us and kind of hang out and swim around, and was just like, they're just so magical.
Curious, aren't they?
Yeah.
Open, friendly, warm, loving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're amazing creatures. So amazing.
Most women don't feel lost because they lack insight. They feel lost because they've learned how to look everywhere except inside themselves. They're looking for answers everywhere except their HeartPrint. If you've done the work, consumed the information, and still feel disconnected or unsure of yourself, this may be the conversation you've been missing. On Tuesday, January 20th, I'm hosting a free live virtual roundtable for women who feel disconnected, overwhelmed, or out of alignment despite doing the work. This is not a webinar, it's not a lecture, and it's not about fixing what's broken. It's about remembering who you really are. During the live roundtable, I'll walk you through the framework I use to help women reconnect with their inner wisdom, the part of you that knows how to move, decide, and live in alignment without comparison or external validation. You'll also hear from guest voices who will share how this inner reconnection shows up differently in their lives, because there is no single right way to come home to yourself. There will be space for guided conversation, reflection, and questions. You are very welcome to join us. If you've been craving depth instead of noise, clarity instead of more information, and a way back to yourself that actually feels embodied, I would love to sit in this space with you. You can RSVP for free using the link in the show notes. I look forward to supporting you as you reconnect with your HeartPrint. So here's an interesting thought that's come to mind when just listening to you talk and getting to know you in this time we've had. I spent a weekend about a year ago at Necker Island with Richard Branson. And there are some real similarities between the two of you. Have you met him?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, really, really interesting similarities. It makes me want to meet more billionaires to see about the patterns, because he is super fit like you, super fit, beyond the realm of watching. Like, I used to watch him go out on his bike rides, and he would take the whole group with him, and 2 or 3 people could finish it, and they were all 20, 30 years younger than him.
Yeah.
Super high levels of fitness, super interested in Gaza and all of that whole space you and I have spent time talking about. Extremely well read, very well versed in politics, financials, trends, all of that kind of experience. And I'm just noticing those layers that match the layers we've talked about today. And I'm really curious, you've named a number of other billionaires.
It's almost a similar pattern, because I think they're all these things are connected.
Well, this is what
they're
my
all
question
connected.
was. So
interpersonal, emotional, mental. And I think when you're going up, when you're becoming successful, there's so many different interpersonal challenges and challenges with other people and situations. And you just, you end up in a legal battle, and then you learn all this stuff that you don't really want to learn. Yeah. But you learn it. And, or, you run into a situation where you're dealing with politicians. Like, I was buying a racetrack for $28 million in Tooele, Utah. And I was competing against a billionaire, Lee Shafu, who I think he's like 28 billion now, but then he was like 11 billion. And I remember us fighting back and forth, and they sold it to him for 18 million, 10 million less than me. My original offer was 27.5. And so he figured out the politics better than I did. I don't know what he did, but I sued the county and him, and I overturned the sale. So I overturned the sale, and I spent 2.5 years and almost $1 million in legal fees trying to buy that racetrack. Because the track was worth like $120 million. I raced Le Mans prototype radicals. So that's, it's a crazy car. It's a car track. A racetrack.
I heard racetrack and assumed horse racing track.
Horse? Oh.
That's what I do.
No, racetrack. Okay. It's a 4.5 FIA approved, formula approved racetrack with an unbelievable media center, like just tons of garages. Just a billionaire had it, and he passed away, and his family didn't want it. And then the county was in charge of selling it. And I was working with 2 municipalities, because the Grantsville, which was another city other than Tooele County, could get it if we annexed the water rights into it. So I was dealing with the politics of Grantsville, and Marshall, this guy, the mayor there, and that whole culture where they're talking about how many how many roosters you can have. And that was the discussion at the meeting, was about roosters. And I'm talking to him about a racetrack, and annexing the property, and what a difference in tax value that could do for him, creating 1,000 jobs. I was going to build 200 homes that in the community, and a little club, and keep everything the same, an amphitheater. I was looking at putting a little over $275 million into the racetrack to grow it. So the other company, the competing company, decided to almost copy my plan when they came back saying they were going to do all this stuff, and they didn't do any of it. And then eventually the county told me, we're never going to sell it to you, ever. and they were going to change the Utah Constitution to be where a county or any municipality could sell to anybody for any reason. I'm like, how do you legalize corruption? And I said, well, this is America. My attorney is like, this is America.
Wow.
If you can get it in writing, you can legalize corruption. It's how, senators can buy stocks of companies they know they're going to give contracts to without any penalties. And that's how you get somebody that makes a couple $100,000 a year that can have a net worth of $80 to $100 million doing the same position for like 20 or 30 years. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I look at the law coming through. It didn't pass the first time, but by the second time it was coming around to be passed, I was like, it's probably going to pass because people are not going to know that they're legalizing corruption. They changed the Constitution in Utah because of me, because of my case. So right before the Constitution changed, what they ultimately voted in, I said, look, if you'll help me with my legal fees to take care of that, I'll walk. I'll let you sell it to the billionaire that you want to sell it to, and I'll walk away because you're never going to sell it to me. And my thought was, if I didn't before the law changed, then I would have no real traction at that point, other than the fact that this happened under the old laws and not the new law. So yeah, you learn a lot about like NAC, which like, for example, here is Nevada Administrative Code, how they administer law, or Nevada Revised Statutes, which is basically what you don't do, and NAC is how you do it. So understanding that, like in Utah, about how they were supposed to administer the sale gave me a clear understanding about how they messed up, which gave me the lawsuit that I knew I would win at.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so we got onto that through the pattern recognition of lots of billionaires that you know, and I only know one other billionaire. And you're seeing lots of traits that go between billionaires. That, and probably a lot of people, don't see this, but usually there is an incredible woman behind them that, if it's a guy, if it's a woman, I would hope she has an amazing guy behind them. But I think understanding commitment and really being committed, I think is huge, because I think handling that in one's life is probably a real big key to success, is really nailing that down. Yeah. How about that? So you're looking, is there any differences? So we see the patterns. Like all of the ones I know are all in solid, committed, long-term relationships. I mean, almost all of them, I would, like it. You know who doesn't fit this pattern? I know, but I wasn't going to say it. I'm not going to say it either. Let's not say it. Yeah. But there are people that don't fit, but there are exceptions to every rule. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how he's been able to do as much as he's done with as much disruption in his personal life, other than, there's not a lot of dialogue that happens in the personal life. It must be set up in a way where it is an ancillary benefit or relationship. It is not central to the, I've known people that kind of have that, business people that not as successful, but that just have it compartmentalized. Yeah. Don't even talk about anything really with it. They're just, but true partnership is different. Yeah. It's very different. It's powerful. If you get it right, it's it's super powerful. It is. Yeah. I'm really curious, and curious minds listening on this podcast would like to know, you are at the age and stage of life where you have accomplished much. You've sort of seen it all. You've been around the block a few times. You've got your ability to have perspective on self, and yet you're still really got a long way to go in your beautiful life. Got a lot of years ahead of you. So with the philosophy that everybody's always working on something and we never get it done, what are you working on? What's your next frontier? What's your next element of personal growth? Where to from here? I wonder, I have something that's in my book this section on love. I wonder if I took that section and more or less
worked on it in the rest of the areas of my life, which I hadn't really thought about till this moment, till right now.
Okay.
The section on love is like 4 pages. And it's like, it talks about the idea of the concept of love compared to the experience of love, right? So often when we first meet somebody, we're completely in love with them, completely, right? Oh, you got a drug problem? We'll overcome that. Oh, you don't have a driver's license? No problem. Oh, your credit's messed up? No problem. Oh, you're in debt and almost bankrupt? No problem. You know, there's just no problem. It's like you're in the experience of love.
Limerence, that is, those first couple of years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what often happens is what turns into, from experience, it devolves into the concept of love, which there's this like set of rules. And most people that get into a relationship don't even know what the rules are, right? So when it does slip from an experience into the rule book, you meet a whole different person that shows up that has this set of rules that if you don't follow them, and this is like, you can feel it, I can feel it. When I realized this about myself, I was like, pretty much if this was my basics, was if you cook once a week, maybe once every couple weeks, not a problem. And if you do laundry, that was my bar. So you can imagine I was happy in a lot of relationships, right? It was so easy to make me happy, like literally. And so, you know, I could be in love with almost anybody, right? Like literally, and was, you know, I absolutely adore and love women. Just absolutely. I think they're amazing. I don't think one's any better than the other. I think they're all just different, you know, and if you see them for who they really are, you can love anyone, period. So here I am, like I see these rules and I go, wow, I can feel myself retreating when they don't match up to the rule. And then I'm like, when they do match up to that book, I feel myself leaning in and allowing myself to experience love. So now I got this concept. And so about 14 years ago, when I met my wife, I'm like, I told her about this. I told her about the book, what I was writing. And I explained this concept to her. And she goes, okay, keep writing the book. Right? I said, what I want to do is find new and different ways to love you every day so that I can experience being in love, right? Every day. And so I started that practice and it's amazing. You get stronger and stronger at it. I just adore her. And I find new and different things to love about her every single day. Like literally, it's wild that when you just, you know, when I chose that I want a loving experience, right? Then somebody who fits a rule book, right? Even though my rules are pretty, it's not hard, right? But that, and it just, I think it's almost been like the grease to just make everything so much easier. When she messes up, I just find it adorable. When she's mad at me, I just find it so cute. You know, that she's that passionate and cares that much that she'll get upset about it. And then so it's not like I'm mad back at her. It's just I see this amazing woman, like, and the full manifestation of her beingness in front of me. And I'm just like in awe. So it's like, so taking that same experience, which I've been doing in my relationship, and I'm like completely happy. She completes me. And I'm just amazed at her every day. She's brilliant. We never have the same conversation. It's never the same. It's always different. We're always, and you know, she'll sit there and like after coffee, come back and go, okay, what cognitions did you have? Did you have any epiphanies? And what realizations did you have today? And I do the same thing. And she'll tell me, like, when I don't tell her what I've learned, she'll go, you're holding out on me. You know, and like, so there's this just fierce, you know, personal curiosity about each other that has grown over time. I think taking that same thing that I've been doing in my relationship and really looking to apply it in other areas. I think I right now feel very safe in the practice with my wife because, you know, there's such trust there, right? And commitment. Like I'm 100% committed. And just there's not a treasonous thought that even goes through my, I remember when we first got together, she goes, if you think about someone else, that's actually cheating. I'm like, no, that's not true. And she's like, no, it is. It's, it is. You can emotionally cheat too. I'm like, what? Emotionally cheat? Yeah. She goes, well, if you have feelings, you're emotionally cheating on me. I was like, man, this is a whole new standard. Wasn't used to that. But I'm so grateful that she had all those conversations with me to straighten out somebody that up until that time, there'd been anything that's ever cost me has been treason, whether that's other people treasonous or me being treasonous in a relationship. And this is the first relationship that I've been completely, there's been no treason. So on my side, I can't tell 100%, you never know, but anything's possible. I doubt it, but it's possible. But before then, I remember being in relationships and I'd hear somebody say like, yeah, I don't think I could be with them. And I'm like, well, if you're with me, why would you be sizing up the next person? Like, and that had gone on for like a year. And I'm like, this is weird. I don't want to be number two. Be with your number one if there's a number one, but I'm not sure why you're sizing up people. Like, are you settling with, it was just but I was okay with that and had been okay with that and had been okay being in relationships, thinking about someone else. And I'm like, but I've had business partnerships that every one of the business partnerships that went sideways were them going into treason on me. Cost me like a total added up one time is about $43 million is the cost of treason. But you can't see treason if you're in treason.
No, you can't. You don't have the perspective.
Until you get outside of that and understand true commitment, true alliance, and being on a team. Yeah. And I see so many people in relationships and as soon as they get outside, they talk bad about the person they're with. And I'm like, my dad stopped me on my first girlfriend on this one. And I thank him for this. I told him I was complaining about my girlfriend, blah, 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 blah. And he goes, I said, what? He goes, do you know how stupid you look? I said, what do you mean? He goes, is that the best you can get? Is somebody you're going to complain about? He goes, don't ever talk to me like this again. And I walked away and I went, it does make me look worse. You look worse than the person you're talking about. So, and I could go to a bar right now, anywhere in Vegas, and I guarantee you I can sit down and that conversation is pervasive. It's like you'll hear it where somebody will just natter about their relationship. They do. And I'm like, then why are you in it? I mean, that's what's in my mind. I don't buy in. I listen. I certainly don't, participate. Yeah, it's like, why would I participate in creating a treasonous situation, talking bad about the person that I love, and then going home to them and having to omit and withhold the fact that I just talked bad about them? Yeah, it's a whole lot of work, isn't it? It's a ton of work. Yeah. One thing that you don't know about me is that I'm actually a relationship specialist or expert. Really? Mm-hmm. Oh, well, why did we start with that? Anyway, what I thought you might like to know is that there is research that sits behind what you figured out by yourself. You're kidding me. No, it's from the Love Lab, the Gottman Institute. The idea is that there are two pillars that hold up a relationship. One is trust, one is commitment. And they use a relationship house analogy. And the first kind of 4 floors of the relationship house are called the friendship system. And when the friendship system has enough energy in it, which includes appreciations for other people, it includes knowing somebody really well and updating your knowledge with them over time. When you have those things in play as energy every day, you basically build yourself up to something called positive regard. And positive regard is that story that you shared where you said, even when she's mad at me, I just think, oh, look at you, honey. You really care so passionately about us. That's warm, positive regard. And it comes because the friendship system is full, because you find new ways of loving her that are unique every single day.
So the discipline of what you figured out is actually matched by science.
Really?
Yeah.
I got to read this.
Sure.
That's cool. I did it the hard way.
You did?
I wish I could have just read it. would have been a lot cheaper.
Yeah, you figured it out.
I could have saved some time.
Yeah, you totally figured it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, how curious that brain of yours is.
Yeah, fiercely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, last question for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's reaching kind of the end of the day. We can kind of feel the end is near, even though you and I think, could do another 3 episodes. Let's put us at Dragon Ridge. And we've put ourselves outside. There's a fire pit, it's a good temperature. Your travertine marble is the right feel under our feet. We're comfortable and we're in front of the pool. And around us are a whole lot of empty chairs and all of our listeners are gathering. And we can feel that it's kind of that special part of the night where there's a truth about to be told and we just don't know what it is. And so we're all sitting comfortably and all eyes are gently on you. And the feel in the room is like, what last piece of wisdom or advice do you have for us? And I wonder, might you step into that space of sharing anything else that's left that's on your heart?
I think if I was in that space, I'd probably look at everybody and say, I love you.
And you would do it from that resonance space where your mind, your emotions, and your feelings all connected, and you sent that frequency out.
Yeah.
They could feel what that feels like holistically. What would you hope would happen when they received that?
I would hope that they could accept it, right? Because so often people have a hard time accepting love. Some people can give it. Some people can't receive it, right? They resist it their whole life. And I can see it when I give that love away, that some people just get all weirded out, because they're not used to it.
Well, I think giving and receiving, and you know how we looked at the 0 before and we said, oh, if you twist it, it's an 8.
Yeah.
For me, giving and receiving are 2 sides of the same coin, but they're very different frequencies. So to be able to give is often easier than being able to receive.
I think it's a lot harder to receive.
You have to be able to change your tone or your acceptance or tolerance of the vulnerability, I think, of receiving. Yeah,
I think it is tough. Receiving is tough.
Yeah.
Especially if, we live in a culture, especially capitalism and so forth, that's based on you giving or doing. It's not something that you sit back and receive. It's like, if we don't do something, if we don't give, we're not going to have anything. Right. So that sitting back and being able to receive it is probably the thing that I would hope somebody really gets and feels it in their heart, such that they have a new experience of being loved, especially from a place that I think the best place to be loved is when there's no transaction happening.
Ooh.
Right. So often people will say, I love you. What they really mean is goodbye. What they really mean is, when people say goodbye, that, especially their mates, they're like, I love you. That's not I love you. That's goodbye. But it sure sounds like it. The words are I love you, but the real thing is goodbye. Right. So I do think there's that really love without a transaction, like giving without somebody knowing that you gave.
That's an idea. I feel like that is like a depth. So if we say, I love you, and it's up here, and it can still be coherent with our thoughts and our actions, it can all be coherent, but you're speaking about it in a deeper, different way. Love has a different frequency in the way in which you're operationalizing the term. Yeah,
I think it comes from a space of granting beingness to somebody. It's a sense of gratitude for them and an appreciation because you see who they really are, right? And you allow them to be without you wanting them to be differently than they are, right? So I think that loving is complete acceptance and it's appreciation, it's gratitude, and without transaction. I think the real key there is to, put that, like, for example, I pray every day before, this is the last thing I do before I go to sleep. And you've been in my prayer.
Thank you.
You were in my prayer last night.
Thank you so much.
Right. So, like, I pray for people, not just myself. I also pray for my wife. I pray for her family. And I pray for lots of people. I pray for Tyus,
Hi, Tyus.
Hi, Tyus.
Tyus is also around the fire pit.
Yes. Okay. So I love you. So it's like, that's that sense, of just being responsible. I think the more responsibility you can take on, the more you can grow. So the less responsibility you take, the less you actually can really be. So the ultimate is to be completely responsible for everything and everyone. I know it's a hard thing to kind of get your head around when most people are dodging responsibility. But I think being responsible for everything that occurs in your life around you, and I could see, like, when things come up, I'm like, oh, I didn't handle that. I knew that was going to pop up at some point. And it's really, it's my responsibility because I knew it and didn't handle it. So oftentimes I think about that as like that responsibility level as like 100%. I'm responsible for my emotions. I'm responsible for my thoughts. Other people that are in front of me, I'm responsible for what happens. So,
yeah, I think great leaders understand that. And my husband and I talk about this all the time, is the breadth of your shoulders reflects the level of work you've done and the understanding you have of what it takes to be human. And when you have that depth of understanding, it is much easier to be responsible for others, to see others in a positive light, to see the good inside perhaps they're not so good decisions. You can see more of the whole person. But I think you can only do that when you've got a good handle on self and when you've walked through a number of fires that have allowed you to grow into somebody who's risen from the ashes so many times that it's familiar. Yeah. So you see where someone else is, it's much easier to love them.
Yeah. And I think the other thing is, so often people, our minds will go to judgment. And the reality is, what have you seen in front of you that you haven't done?
Honestly.
Like, I see, like, the hypocrisy, like, it's just laughable.
Honestly.
Like, that you could even judge. I'm like, I still go back to, like, it's up to God to judge and not me.
Yes.
So, yeah, I'm like,
right. And that's a human
I've
thing.
done almost everything. So in some form, whether small or huge, like, there's nothing you haven't done, so
There is research around that as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is basically that's true. So when you find a fault in someone else, your job it's called the law of similarity, is to find that same fault in self.
Really?
And you will always find it.
I think because any other thing separates you from the other being.
Right.
And separation is really what is the destruction of relationship. And communication is the universal solvent, but most people, in my opinion, but there's a big conversation I talk about in my book is change the conversation in your head and you change your life.
Absolutely.
And some people have some pretty bad conversations going on in their head.
They do.
And it's funny because the one thing you do have control over is the conversation in your head.
From that zero perspective, though, you've got to build the muscle to be able to observe the thinking and the feelings and not holistically accept them as your entire reality. Yeah.
I've had people really get really angry in that conversation because they really do think they are their thoughts and they really do think they're their emotions, and it becomes a tough thing. Well, of course, if I think it, it's real.
I know.
I'm like, and of course I let them have it because I was there.
Yes, it's an evolution.
My thoughts used to dictate my life. I wouldn't even have a second thought. I just would think it and do it because they were congruent. Same with my emotions. If I felt it, it was real.
And there is truth to that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, it's not the only truth.
Yeah, to me, it's just feedback.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, thank you.
Yes, the emotion.
There's the emotion. Thank you.
It's
Got
data. It's information.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not the entire story, though. It's one piece of the puzzle.
Yeah. And what's funny about emotions is it can change with a conversation.
Of course it can, particularly when you're heard and appreciated and understood and validated for your experience.
Yeah.
That allows you to be like, oh, okay. And then we get some perspective and we can see ourselves, and then we can take the shackles off and expand to our next level.
Yeah.
And that's the human opportunity for us, is that continued growth and expansion.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
This was super fun.
Yeah, it was totally unexpected. I thought we were going to talk about money and finance and loans and VC. And
we did, didn't we?
Sort of. Did we? I don't know. I have to watch this. Did we talk about that at all?
We did.
Okay.
Because I was interested.
Okay.
I was totally interested. So I think we accidentally had a good time.
Yeah, I think accidentally, yeah.
Yeah. I'd like to thank Andrew Cartwright for joining me today on Wisdom Stripes. In today's episode, we explored Andrew's incredible journey from overcoming financial struggles to achieving great success and sharing that wisdom with others. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you're subscribed so you never miss an update. You can connect with Andrew on Instagram at AndrewXCartwright or visit andrewcartwright.com to learn more about his work and his YouTube channel. Thank you for listening to another episode of Wisdom Stripes. I hope you gained a little wisdom today. My name is Meg Tuohey, and this is Wisdom Stripes. Thank you for listening to this episode of Wisdom Stripes. Follow me on @MegTuoheyOfficial and leave a comment and review. I'm looking forward to meeting you here next time on Wisdom Stripes.